I'm good. I was like, yeah, let me record. Nigga, I was late when I got here. Nothing was said. Damn, I'm late. We was just talking, bro. You know how it runs. Have a little production meeting, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, what's good? It's your boy, your boys. It's the Gentleman's Guide podcast where we seek to unpack manhood one day at a time.
Yes, sir.
We back 2023.
Yes, sir.
What's
Welcome
good?
back, Drew.
What's up, man?
What's up, baby? Miss you.
Welcome home, man. I know you're heading back on the circuit in a little bit, but you back.
Just a little bit.
You know,
couple
home,
weeks.
home for the holidays and whatnot.
Yeah, which was great. It's
Yeah.
good to see. Good to be around family and friends.
Yeah.
So.
I know the boys enjoyed your company, man, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The nephews, nieces, that was pretty much the highlight of me being back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Catch us up, bro.
everything's good, man. We I was gone since late July until December 10th.
Yep.
So I got back in time just for Christmas. But it was good, man. Everything was good. Had a good time, great experiences.
Let the people know what you was doing.
So I was actually performing on a Holland America cruise ship, specifically the Eurodam. So I was out there performing with the BB King All Star tribute band. So had a lot of good moments, man. Met a lot of great people. People that can very well be involved in one's future. So you know what I'm saying. So that's always good. You know what I'm saying. Kind of networking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean. So. So yeah, it was good, bro. I'm glad to be back. You know what I'm saying? We go back in a few weeks, February 14th. So I'll be back on the ship. So
Are you gonna be back on the ship on Valentine's Day, huh?
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's a tough world.
Also,
ain't that tough.
also want to let everybody know who else we got as a guest. Who we got as a guest?
For sure, man.
Got Gerard. He back on the team with us, man. What's good, bro?
What's up, everybody, man? Glad to be here. So, thanks for having me.
I have recorded with Gerard before.
I
don't think so.
I don't think we have. Bro.
No,
the
pandemic when we was talking about the pandemic.
Oh, when we did the check-in.
Yeah.
But that was a very serious topic.
Yeah.
You ain't had no chill.
Not since this.
Yeah.
Not since we started this. So I'm definitely looking. You know, me and Gerard always have our topics and talks and everyone
For sure.
But it's good to really tap inside his mindset in this atmosphere in this realm. So
Climate.
I'm excited, bro. I'm excited.
But essentially raising black boys, right?
Okay.
That's so we can kind of touch on a lot of different things.
Yeah, and I think we can, and we shall, man.
Yeah.
I think we can start with Brandon.
Sure.
How you go with with your daily routine of what are some of the things that you go in raising your boys?
This is the first thing that comes to my mind because when I look back on my childhood, our father wasn't the only black man in our life. Like he was always, he was there. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's very important to always have different examples.
Yeah.
Because when you only see one way, I think it naturally. And there's no fault to the child, but you naturally only see
that
this
thing. Yeah.
So, and in that aspect, what I always say to people is when you're a kid, you learn what to do or what not to do.
Yeah.
And when you learn what to do, what not to do, and you've only had this one example, you only know, either on or off versus you ain't seen no spectrum of nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for my kids, I think the school that Brandon came from, he's not there now because we moved, but had a black man as a principal, which I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Because in education, we are few and far in between. At Wesley's preschool, the executive director, she's a black woman, lovely lady.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The next person under him, guess what you call him, the principal, black man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Same color as me.
Right.
Bald headed. Like,
y'all got something in common?
well, what I'm saying is, like I said, it goes back to my point of my son seeing something other than just me because I don't know it all.
I was just saying about the bald head, but go ahead.
I knew what he was talking about.
Keep on talking. You gonna be there soon, my brother.
No, sir. Don't place it. Don't put that on me.
Yeah, right. You know, people want to put they.
There you go. Says the guy with a full head of hair. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm growing mine out too. B. I got hair.
It don't look like much right now, but I got his there.
What? Bro, what are you talking about?
I ain't even mad.
It's been up under this hat, bro.
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
I ain't going bald. No.
Do what you gotta do, bro. You keep that joint. Do what you gotta do.
God,
bro.
yeah,
Good.
God
I
willing.
got you, bro. I feel you, bro.
Genetics.
I'm
Anyway,
I'm happy for you.
anyway.
But yeah, my original point was it makes me happy to know that
Representation.
representation matters, not just for the father being in the kid's life, which that's
Right.
probably number one,
Yeah.
right? Because the studies show that kids are emotionally, socially just more equipped for the world when daddy is there.
Yeah.
That's not my opinion,
Right.
But having Uncle Drew, Uncle Seti, Uncle Rod, you know what I'm saying, Uncle like all these different
Yeah.
black guys in their lives that
Right.
are. I have to be daddy. I have to be the disciplinarian all
Right.
the time. Like that's my role, and also a mentor and guide them, of course. But it's important to for them to see a spectrum,
Yeah.
because we ain't a monolith.
Very
You know what I'm saying? Like things like we're a lot alike in a lot of ways, but we not the same person. You know what I'm saying? So like I think that's very important in terms of raising black boys, black kids, like having a spectrum of not just you and daddy and mommy, but
Yeah.
having that village.
What when it comes, I know you have all girls. Love every one of them.
Yeah.
But as from your aspect of, this is this is the segment that I was wanted you to hold tight on. The individuals that you are that you see in your daily job, Gerard.
Go ahead, bro.
How do you see that aspect and how you raise your girls? And I guess my question is,
I pray that they don't ever grow up and meet one of these jokers. Go to college, but he went in. But anyway, no, go ahead.
so my question is, as you as a father, what actions are you taking to pour into them, your girls, and what to look for in a black man versus what you pour into the guys that that you see in and day out?
It's presence. It's really presence. Like presence. Like, you know what I'm saying? Being present.
Yeah.
So, what I think
Consistency.
is important for every kid. So in the work that I do is being present.
Yeah.
Like your biggest biggest thing going for you to build rapport, build relationships, and kind of help to coach them into thinking differently, and buying into the supports that are being provided, whatever the young man that are being provided is to be present and be consistent. And so the same thing, with my own kids,
Yeah.
my girls, daddy's present. Daddy's present. He's here. He's not zoned out. He's not thinking about this, that. So when I'm with them, doing stuff with them, coloring with them,
Yeah.
just doing what fathers do. And I think I understand. I agree with Brandon saying that you definitely raising black children and black boys particularly. You need multiple examples.
Yeah.
I think you need multiple examples, Brandon. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say why I feel why. I feel like I know that we needed multiple examples because of some of the areas of deficiency, perhaps in our immediate example of a father, our father. And so what I mean by that is, and I don't say that to not, but just trying to now also being older now, being 33 and actually experiencing a little more life, like I understand my daddy a little bit more.
Facts.
I have a lot more grace an appreciation for my father that I might not have had 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If we go ahead, baby, get it, you good. 2 or 3 years ago.
You scream for it.
And I love my, I never, disrespect the son. I love my dad. I honor my father. You know what I'm saying? I do my best to honor my parents.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I know, like, you know what I'm saying? He had some things he went through, that, made it difficult for him to be certain things that we might have needed in that time. So what God did was provided us with other examples.
Right.
So I thank God, you know what I'm saying? I had an Uncle Fred. I had an Uncle Artist. You know, when my dad was working night shift, my Uncle Artist, I didn't realize it at the time, but like we was always playing ball with him and always like what my father couldn't do. And it wasn't that my uncle was conscious to say, well, you know, my brother Benji is working nights and he can't do this, so I'm gonna do this with the boys. Like it wasn't even that. You know what I'm saying? We really were just close in age. We like playing ball, and it just
That's the way it happened.
Yeah. It was like an instinct. It's an instinct.
Yeah, it was just an instinct.
Yep.
Natural. It was just a natural, like, you know, man, like, all right, daddy's working night shifts, certain things he might not be able to do. So we out here playing ball with other artists. So it wasn't nobody, my mother, nobody was thinking of it like, you know, nobody was thinking of that, but it just happened. So, you know, even with my grandfather, man, like having that spiritual guide.
Yeah.
So what my dad, you know, my dad loved him. You know what I'm saying? He's very practical, realistic. I would say he's a realist, you know, and you need that.
Yeah.
But you also need that spiritual side. So where he might not, when I say fell short, where he might not have been as strong in this particular area spiritually and guiding us, like I have my granddaddy for that. My daddy ain't got to be, he ain't got to be that.
Because you have somebody to pick up the slack.
Somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you
village.
If
You got a village. Yeah.
We would call a model of a marriage. Like I saw my Uncle Fred and my Aunt Belinda. Like they were, you know what I'm saying? Like they were.
Yep.
They taught me a lot. My parents taught me a lot, but they taught me a lot.
Yeah.
So it's just it was a blessing all the way around how it all just was orchestrated and played out.
Mm-hmm.
And so you football. I needed a Coach Smith.
Right.
Coach Smith, like he was one of the.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember Coach Smith.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Remember Coach Smith?
Mm-hmm.
So like I like when you like you don't see that. And he was the one. Coach Smith was the one was like, yo, y'all need to get out of Bun.
Yeah.
Y'all need to go to the
Get away from here.
Yeah, you got to expand
get
and
away from here. Like you remember, like go to college. And
Yeah.
he was always telling us. Like my dad couldn't tell me that
Because he never experienced that.
It wasn't an experience that he had.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. He gave me what he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so as you get older, you like, man, you know what? You just thank God, man. At least he was there. At least he was present. So I love and honor and adore.
Because guess what?
My father, and for what he was able to do. And even if he wasn't conscious to say, man, I'm not good in this area, so I'm this person help me with this. We now see that, like, all right, if there is an area that I'm not good at, all right, look, you need. I talk to Uncle B. He know about stocks and bonds. He know about having multiple properties. That ain't my area. I work. I make this money. I'm gonna have this house. I might get another one. If I buy some more property, it's gonna be a piece of land. But that's just me, because that's naturally me. You know what I'm saying? If I do something outside of that, Brandon's gonna help me. Or if you want to know about it, have it, and you 16, 17 years old, go talk to Uncle B. You know what I'm saying? I talk to Uncle Seti. We're conscious enough to say if I'm, essentially not as strong in a particular area, I ain't got to know it all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna point you in the right direction, and I see that like in Darnell. My Uncle Darnell.
Yeah.
Like, so I know I said a lot, but that's for me kind of how I think about it. You need that village. You don't have all the answers.
And that was my
father,
that was my biggest.
Maybe that's a better way to have put it. Like I see that my father, my parents, they didn't have all the answers, and that's okay. You don't need all the answers.
You don't need all that.
Yeah.
You don't.
Ain't no shame in not knowing everything.
That's
Absolutely.
That's the level of that's the so
I think that
said.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah, but you just don't need all the answers. That's what I would say to like the point of needing that village, raising young men. We have multiple examples around us that help to mold us, and you don't realize that you need it until you actually
Yep.
Sit back and think it or
Sit
need
back,
it.
reflect, like, or need
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or need
You
it.
know what I'm saying? I guess that's the middle of it. You don't realize you need it until you actually get to a particular place in your life. Like, man, okay, I need what he said.
Yeah, yeah.
I need what this was important. You know, if that makes sense. So,
And you know, shout out to Darnell too, man. He's always been a resource to me from an extension
You
of
already
y'all,
know, man.
man. You know, probably if I need answers or questions, if I have questions about anything,
anything.
you know, he is so knowledgeable about a lot of things. And he said, I don't know. Let me get back with you. And he definitely comes back and say,
And that's what's up.
you know, but you know, it goes back into that village.
Yeah.
That village, you know, I wouldn't know him without y'all.
Yep.
You know,
Gotcha.
so you know, shout out to y'all for you know providing me that, you know, extension of love and, you know, family, you know, to him. And he's been amazing, you know, for the million of questions that I've always had. And, you know, I've been able to, you know, utilize those throughout, you know, that time period in which I've met him. You know, when I think it was your graduation, Gerard, when I met him when at the cookout in
Probably.
Zebulon.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
when you had that cookout in Zebulon,
That's when they were actually living in Zebulon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was
that's when I met him. That was your graduation.
your graduation? Yeah.
It
It was
was.
high school.
It couldn't have been.
They
It
were
was your
living,
high school.
they were living in Zebulon.
Your high school graduation or college?
High school.
True.
You sure?
2010, man.
Yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
All right, I ride with it.
That's,
But going into
Somewhere
like,
in there, you
yeah, somewhere in there, somewhere in there,
somehow.
You know,
somehow, yeah. Just rolling into like you know that conversation of raising black boys to be respectable black men. Now I'm in that role. This is a new title for me. It's a new title as a father. So I'm raising up a baby, young man, teenager, young adult to be a man. So for me, it's really just taking all those things that I've learned from y'all, your uncle, my dad, your dad, everybody, and really trying to apply that to everything. And I can't do it overnight.
And here's the thing: you can pick and choose what you want to take. That's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh. I mean,
And that's what I mean by the spectrum, bro. Like the you can boom, you can just pick and choose. Like, oh, I want this, I want this.
It's
Boom.
crazy, bro. Like I never knew what this felt like.
Yeah.
Like he's not even of course he's not even here yet. But like sometimes I find myself just staying up late at night, just like, I want to teach him this. I want to teach him this. I want to teach him this.
That's how you know you
And
going.
I'm like,
yo,
I'm writing him letters. Just read it like whenever you get older. Like, and it's just certain things that I just really want him. I want to be there for you, and I'm gonna be there. But I know I can't essentially be there for everything. Not because I'm not physically there, but because I don't know,
Yeah.
or I may not have the answers.
That was
and that comes where the village come from. And you spoke on it, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach out to somebody and essentially he can do the same. Like, hey, yo, like I got questions like this. My dad's like, yo, told me to call you. You know what I'm saying? And to have that network and to know that like
And here's the crazy part of it, City. Like, you just make your point. You said, and you was giving an example of your son one day, reaching out to somebody because my dad said
it's okay.
My dad said so. It's okay, but that at the end of the day, your father's voice is always going to be a strong voice.
It matters. Yeah.
Even if the information ain't coming
from
him.
Oh man,
Yeah.
this
You know what I'm saying? It's like you know what I'm saying?
the
Man, because my
validation
dad
behind.
said, I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
my dad said, like, little thing, man, and it's really just a microcosm of really our relationship with God. I started to understand how God sees me when as my kids started getting older and when I had kids. Like, dang, God, like
you carry yourself a little bit differently.
when your kids impatient, when your kids always ask me, it's like, I already told you that we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. I already told you we get ice cream. but you still asking for the ice cream. It's like, God, like I already told you that you're blessed.
Story of my life.
And not just not just with things, but I already told you that I'm gonna take care of you. I already told you, and like it's in the word, but and I lie. I'm not lying. I don't say I hate to go this way, but I just want to make a point. Like the word and affirmation that we get from our Father. Like I said, I started to understand my faith in God a lot more. Kids, having kids,
this what you just said in terms of like the father's voice being like so strong in a kid's life, it brought up the recent controversy of Akon and his recent comments regarding Nick Cannon. Are you aware of that?
Educate me.
Educate me as well, because I was.
Educate me, dog. I don't know what.
So I'm a paraphrase, but essentially, Nick Cannon, somewhat recently shared his concerns that if you're not aware, he got like a lot of baby mamas like on purpose, on a lot of kids with a lot of baby mamas on purpose.
A lot of baby mamas, yeah.
So he made that choice. So apparently he came out. I don't know if it was an interview or he was a speaker. I don't really know the context of when it was said or how it was said, but essentially he was like, I'm concerned that I don't have enough time to be there for all of my kids because I have so many. And Akon was essentially Nick Cannon made that statement, yes. And so Akon was basically I think he was in an interview and he was asked about that. And he was like, what? He was like, that's in so many words, he was like, yeah, that's a European mindset, or like that's a white man's mindset to like care about being in a child's life. He was like, and he was talking about like Nick Cannon I think he made reference to like recitals and events for the kids that they're participating in. And Akon was essentially, he was like, man, we don't care about no recitals. And I was like,
bro, let me tell you something.
I said, and it was a slew of black men, black fathers who like basically went in on them like on Twitter, social media, was like posting pictures with their kids.
Let me tell you something.
And I did the same thing on my Instagram. I was like, Wesley had a Christmas play fairly recently. I was like, that's when I was talking about. I was like, I was like, I don't know what Akon talking about. I said, but I said showing up matters, being there matters.
Let me tell you something right now. Let me tell you something right now. Mm-hmm. It's the way I feel. Mm-hmm. It's the way I forever feel. My kid ain't even here yet. Mm-hmm. But one thing for sure, two things for certain.
I'll be there.
Always. And I can't, because I know what it feels like.
I was about to say, have you been in an experience where
I know what it feels like.
You've been in that situation, you got a game or whatever,
yeah.
and it's like,
but
then y'all didn't come,
or I never take anything away from my parents.
For sure,
I never take anything
because you can't make every game.
You can't make everything. Yeah. My dad, my parents, my mom, they did what they had to do for the household.
Exactly.
For sure.
They made sure those lights was on.
Make sure you had food on the table.
Even if we didn't eat tonight, we're gonna eat tomorrow night. Yeah. Even if we can't eat what we wanted to eat, we're gonna eat something.
Cereal in there.
That cereal's in there.
Some beans,
oodles and noodles.
Something is in there.
Right.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, we had roof on our head,
clothes
on our back, and we had hot water to shower.
Amen.
Yeah.
So they survived. We talked about this in one of the podcasts. They were always in survival mode because of decisions and options that they
were provided
at that moment.
Yeah.
I say all that to say they couldn't make every game.
Yeah.
They couldn't make some important games, the games where I had my best games, and some of the games that I had my awful games. They could make what they could. I can't sit right here and lie to you at where I'm today and say that it didn't affect me that they didn't make it to whether I had a good game or bad game.
Two things can be true. They had to do what they had to do, but also your feelings are valid as well. Right.
So what I'm saying is that European mentality.
I don't even know what he's talking about, bro. Like what?
That's a white man thing. If you want me to put that out there, like I'm gonna just say it.
I don't know, bro.
That's a white man thing.
It sounds like a foreign concept to me, but maybe.
So let me get clarity. It's a European thing to go to your child.
That's what I'm getting from it. I could be wrong.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, like
But
what
that's-
basically what, and he was insinuating that only white men care about being at these events for their kids. I'm like, what the hell?
That's
Like,
what
no,
I'm
and-
getting.
and-
Was he talking about from a historical? Like, was it like a now thing? So I'm gonna have to.
he didn't go into detail, but
That's my assumption.
but that's what everybody assumed because that's what it sounded like.
I would argue this, and I don't know it to be true, but perhaps maybe this is what he was trying. Culturally speaking, historically speaking, or culturally speaking, maybe from his.
Maybe we didn't have the option to have our.
It was well, no, it wasn't. It was like I gave you this. The seed is there. The mom raised a kid. Anything other than that, I'm not responsible for. I don't know. Or you know what I'm saying, or that I'm not taking that on. Any other type of nurturing.
I reject that notion.
I'm not.
You reject it?
I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying I'm just trying to
I understand.
Maybe I feel like he's speaking as a whole, like as far as maybe, and I'm just saying maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I haven't
really watched
seen
it,
it or
yeah.
anything. So maybe it's coming from a historically being a black man raising a family. You don't have the
luxury of being there.
being at the extracurricular or whatever.
I'm not giving him that much credit.
Yeah, that's
I understand
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
I feel like that could.
that's a real
it
good
could
devil's advocate
be-
there.
you
That
know
is
what I'm saying?
true.
Like, my dad,
But that's not what
just
he
thinking about.
That's a real good devil's advocate. And I like the way you
shaped it,
shaped it in that manner. But
No, what I'm saying is what you're talking about was true.
It is true.
We
It
didn't
is
have
true.
those
We didn't have
luxuries
those
in a lot of
luxuries.
cases. But he no, that's not who he was.
In
doing.
the case-
I like Akon. I like what he does for music. But if that's his mentality,
You gonna miss me with that, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can get canceled like the rest of them
But
niggas.
let me go back to this. I do like what Andrew was saying, but I want to add this. Culturally speaking, like, so he's where is he from? So I'm not.
Africa.
I mean, he's African, but the country I want to. It's not Nigeria.
No,
He's not
no.
Nigerian.
So he's essentially he's from Africa.
Yeah, Akon's African for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
So
he is.
whatever country he's from, what I am saying is,
maybe Ghana. No, I can't think.
does he have
Akon
multiple kids with
music.
multiple women?
Maybe.
What'd you say?
Does he have kids with multiple women?
I don't know. I don't know about Akon, his situations. I don't know.
Yeah,
So my
I
point
don't.
is-
I
my
don't
point-
keep up with
My point is to
celebrities.
say I'm not in agreement with that. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just making I'm not in agreement with the statement or the
Yeah.
whatever.
He gonna keep reproducing, basically.
I'm just making a point to say whether I agree or not. I'm just trying to understand at least his thought, and I have to go listen to it. Perhaps what he was saying was, based on his culture and his upbringing, his understanding of a man's responsibility, culturally speaking. You know what I'm saying? Whatever Nick Cannon was afraid of or upset about, not being involved, he shouldn't worry about that. Again, if one was to ascribe to Akon's cultural expectation of what a father is to be,
You know what?
in a child's life. So I'm not agreeing with it. I'm making a point. I'm just trying to understand.
No, I understand where you're coming from.
I like
Go ahead.
Andrew and Gerard's positive perspective on Andrew. I really.
But is that I think that perspective has nothing to do with Akon. I think Akon was just. I don't think he like based
I'm
on
with
that
you.
statement. I can conclude. I can presume
that he's saying
that he's not a great father. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying he's not there for his kids. That's what he.
that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
That
right.
that he gonna send the money every month,
That could very
Right.
well be.
and then he gonna
Like, what type of father makes a statement like that?
he
See
gonna
what I'm saying?
reproduce and send them money.
Yeah.
He'll child support that.
Yeah.
That's what I got from
Understanding
it.
is two different things. So hold on, agreeing and understanding is two different things.
No, I know. Yeah.
I'm not in agreement.
Come through, Pastor.
Right, exactly. So yeah, thank you for clarifying that, because what I said wasn't from my perspective. It was what I felt like he could have been if he was thinking of it that way. You know what I'm saying? It could be a
I'm not saying y'all.
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
totally.
I just want to make
yeah.
that ain't.
Yeah. And
That was for you, dog. Yeah, we on the same page. That was for them.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear, like, because Gerard was making reference to like the cultural aspect, because he's like, oh, we established that he is African.
Yeah.
So you're trying to talk about the cultural aspect.
Yeah.
This is-
supposed to be true as a culture.
But even
No.
But even
What
all
I-
right, so me, I worked in the school for a little bit of time, right? In the school, the demographics that I would generally come across were African, Indian.
In Cary,
You know
is a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying?
Indian and
Yeah.
Africans in
So
Cary. Yes.
I can't. All right, I was a band teacher, and when I was able to have events, you know what I'm saying, I didn't necessarily always see the pops, and depending on his line of work, a lot of them were doctors and, you know what I'm saying, lawyers or whatever. So the hours of, you know what I'm saying, them working went into the nighttime. So I mean,
Lawyers work at nighttime? I got that business out of 9 to 5.
hey man, look,
My lawyer, she cut me off at a certain time. But go ahead.
she about to cut you off.
What? Bro, what are you talking about?
She got paperwork she got to do. She got to, you know what I'm saying, research. But, you know what I'm saying, like, I can't always say that now, if it was a disciplinary situation,
Yeah.
you definitely going to see pops. You know
sure.
what I'm saying? But I don't know. It could be cultural.
No,
like,
well, this is where I'm at, because I still reject it, because I don't think that's a good enough excuse. I understand cultural differences in a lot of cases, but if you are somebody like Akon or somebody who's living in Cary, you're in an industrialized first world country, right? I'm sorry, bro. Like, some things are just outdated, bro. There's a lot of thinking
I agree
in
with
that aspect in American culture, in terms of like masculinity and the role of the father in the family, that are hugely outdated in 2023. You know what I'm saying?
so-
So just because they from a different country, I don't give you a pass. There are a lot of outdated cultural differences. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
So I hear what you're saying, and I don't want to. I don't give negligent and
Fatherhood.
pass. What I am saying is, now when you toe the line of where you're in essentially what you're saying, where you're in America, you need to ascribe to our way of thinking and doing things. And so
No, that's not what I said. No.
No. That's what you said.
That's not what I said.
all right, so let him
So
finish. Let him finish.
What we do, that's what I'm interpreting as what I'm hearing from what you said.
That is not.
So what?
Well, y'all funny.
That's fair. But this is the piece. If in fact that was what you were saying, I think this is what we have to understand.
What?
So one wants to hold on to, one individual family unit or whatever may want to hold on to their family, their core family values and culture. But then the conflict is your child, though you have that and you're teaching that, trying to teach that to your child who's in a totally different world and totally different culture. So that child is growing up seeing other fathers perhaps be apart, seeing other fathers do this, or, seeing other families do things a certain way. And even though they may have they may be taught this cultural expectation as more the father is, I'm just sticking to the fatherhood component, right? If they're being taught in the home, this is what our culture is, this is what a father is in our cultural dynamic, even though we're in America or we're in, living in Cary, what have you, there's still, there is sometimes that disconnect between just the cultural dynamic versus the modern culture. And then the child is seeing, it's like us growing up, it's like, oh man, what is it? What's the thing? Halloween was we couldn't celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
But I see everybody else, eating candy and da-da-da. It's like, we didn't, my parents never talked about Santa Claus and all that stuff and this, that, and the third. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like, Jesus was for the season. That's it.
Yeah, he had dope
My point is,
presents.
Santa won't come into town.
Niggas on the naughty list all the time.
10 years on.
Man, ain't no way I've been on naughty list. I know I done had 1-2 good years.
Come on now, Santa. I know I got it.
Somebody lying. Somebody lying.
It's a dead cat line, man.
But I'm making a point to say,
Cole again.
there was a cultural expectation, a faith-based cultural expectation for us and how we were being raised, and there was something else being done outside, right? Outside. And so my point is it's just a duality that sometimes, fathers who are very strict in their upbringing and cultural expectations, they may not be able to fit, and to the child could suffer in the process. I say all that to say that's it. Just sound like you were saying. It sounded like you were saying to me, "Well, you're here, you're over here, and
That is-
so you need to get with the times."
So let me
I don't know if
clarify.
that's
Let me clarify.
fair to say.
What I'm saying is my point was there are plenty of what Akon said. There are plenty of, in my opinion, not so great fathers who what he said it resonated with them. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm
Yeah, probably
just
gave them a pass to be bad.
what I'm saying is there are a lot of American people fathers who probably have that same line of thinking. So regardless of what country you come from, in 2023 and if you live in an industrialized first world country, like, I'm sorry, like, that way of thinking is outdated. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying just because you're in America, that America has nothing to do with it. You could be in Africa, in South America, South Africa, or any other country in Africa. And I could be an American black guy from America, and if I had the same line of thinking that Akon has, like, the same rule applies to them. It's like, it's not. That's all I'm saying. It has nothing to do with like being in America and get with the times. Like, it has nothing to do with that. It's more so about just, bro, like, be a good dad. Like, just be a good dad. Like, being there for your kid is not a bad thing. That's all I'm saying.
Glad we had that conversation.
Yeah.
Clarification.
Yeah.
Could have clarified a long time.
He wouldn't let me butt in there. He wouldn't let me.
I would say I wouldn't let them.
Nah, man. I'm really, in regards to, just raising black boys, man. Some of the things that I really want them to, black boys, because even though this is my first son, I feel like I've helped raise several, kids.
Yeah.
Just being in that, that quote unquote uncle phase.
Being consistent.
You were part of that village.
Yeah.
So
that's some practice.
Some of the things that, like, I really want to incorporate, not only to my son but any son that's in that village is, just really just being a really, one good person, like a down to earth, straightforward, understanding person, loving, empathetic, God fearing, and stand up for you, stand up for what you believe in, and don't be prideful. I think that's one of the things that I had to unlearn. Being prideful. That's one of the things that me and Mariah really just take on. Let's say we get in an argument or something, and one of us is wrong. We'll come to the other one and say, "Hey, pride aside," or "I ain't trying to be prideful," or and we'll go into it leading with acknowledging that, taking the emotions out of it, looking at it full circle, bigger picture, I was wrong at some way, shape, or form. So taking that into, now translating that into the relationship with my kid, I'm gonna be wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
And I have to have that same
energy
yeah. for him, and say, "Son, I was wrong."
Lil Wesley will tell you wrong real quick.
Come on now.
And a lot of times he be right too.
Yeah.
Said it actually is that actually coming from sometimes said something now that our parents more like I'm always right type stuff, like
absolutely
like those.
Absolutely.
But and that's not just I'm not just our parents, like
that previous generation
that generation parents. So I think what I have found is that with this new these, and youth and young people, young adults nowadays, like that right there, that level of humility gets you actually more respect.
Yeah.
Than holding on to, you know you was wrong. Yeah. Whether you're an educator, whether you're like anything you do with kids, and so even from the time I was in education, starting in 2012, I always found that like just that level of acknowledgement and
Yeah.
humility puts you in a position where, man, you have so much more pull and respect. And so what will happen where you think that, you would think that, well, acknowledging that will make them see me less than, but it really like elevates your status.
They
and
respect you more. Yeah.
your voice in
Yeah.
your life. And that's
One-
what it would do with your son.
One thing that you glossed over, well, you didn't really gloss over, but you didn't really harp on was the piece with your wife. And when it comes to raising kids, whether you married or whether you not together, whether you not married, whatever the scenario is, being on the same page
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
with the other parent,
yeah. I think
that's a huge piece.
Yeah, I think
know what I'm saying?
With just speaking, and I'm gonna speak. I want to touch on something that you just said too, Gerard. But yes, I think with her and I, her and I are so in lockstep with a lot of things without us having to say we're in lockstep. Just makes it so much like
Yeah.
a lot of times we're thinking the exact same thing when it comes to it. When it comes to certain things, when it comes to in how we see ourselves being in that we're in lockstep, man. We made things that we're not in lockstep with, like, what are we eating for dinner?
Yeah.
Like
Little
stuff. Like,
Yeah.
but when
But
it
don't
comes,
be afraid to verbalize the big stuff, though.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely not.
Yeah.
We definitely speak on like, hey, yo, this is what I feel about this.
Yeah, for sure.
This is what I feel about
Yeah.
this. Circling back to what Gerard was speaking on, that really triggered the thought process. Being, how can I word this? You stated something about getting that respect from your kids because you're that humility. I read I watched something the other day on Instagram. I don't know who reposted it or whatever. And this mother was saying that she allows her kids to, quote unquote, debate and argue her statement. And
I've seen that.
and if they disagree with what she says, and it really generates a critical thinking aspect in them. If the kids disagree with what she says, she allows them to come to her and say, "Mom, can I argue that? Not argue with you, but argue that."
Yeah. Because there's a
And
difference.
This is different. Yes.
Yeah.
So she allows them to argue her judgment on that, and if they come to her with a very valid point to make her change her ruling on it, she will. And she says to date they've been 100% right, and she's changed 100% of the things that they asked her to argue.
When you think about that whole piece, that whole exercise, think about all the skills that they're getting just from
Yes.
that one exercise.
Critical thinking,
advocating for oneself,
yes,
Teach them to think for their own.
think for their own,
own.
right?
Yes.
Very
You know what I'm
important.
saying?
That's
not just to take it because you said it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
the thing I learned the most from being a teacher was that aspect right there. Like, these kids don't just the generation of kids that's coming up now. Like, you gonna have to explain to them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, bro.
we came up with the same
I said
mentality.
this.
is what it is.
Take it up.
But we still had those questions though. Like, a lot of times I remember being in class,
Yeah.
learning a specific math
Yeah,
that I know I ain't gonna use.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, man, Coach Man.
Is it these advanced functions?
why I
of
gotta
modulation?
use? Why I gotta use that?
I ain't never gonna use it.
Shout out to Chuck, man. He's been
Chuck got me through high school.
another black man that has been instrumental in all of our lives.
Yeah.
One,
For sure.
one way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. He probably don't know it, but shout out to Chuck, man.
Chuck.
Yo. So
Yep.
got me
Coach
through high
Wilkins.
school.
Coach Wilkins.
Coach Wilkins, you know what I'm saying? Coach, do I really do I really need this?
Mr. Tabor.
You know,
Mr. Tabor, I will say, Mr. Tabor. I didn't know it at the moment.
You didn't know it at the
I
moment.
didn't know it at the moment.
When you look back on it now,
an interesting thing about Mr. Tabor, that's generally everybody's perception of Mr. Tabor.
I didn't know
like
it.
in that time, like, he trying to give you little gems or whatever to live by and kind of like how to move, and you don't realize it until you. But he the man.
Yeah,
Shout out
yeah,
Mr. Tabor. But
Mr. Tabor,
a lot
man.
of those cats that
He a
you know
real
what I'm
one, man.
saying.
Yeah,
he one of the reasons why my life didn't go a certain way.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
I remember the conversation. I remember that. Yeah,
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
I remember
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Shout out, man. Look, shout out to even if shout out to all the OGs, man. That
Yeah.
help somehow, some way, bruh. Mr. Sneed, now Pastor
Oh,
Sneed,
Reverend
Sneed.
Reverend
Yeah.
Mr. Sneed back in the day,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I know
bro.
there's a number of us that have probably walked through the halls of Bun and kind of had an encounter with him and was able to make adjustments. You know what I'm saying, based off of a conversation that they.
A
Just
lot
had
of people
with him.
didn't know Mr. Sneed was the ISS teacher at Bun High.
What did they think he
Word.
was?
I don't know. I know a lot of people that don't know
They just thought he was there just to be.
because they only
they
know
don't.
him when he transferred and left Bun.
Okay.
Got you.
Yeah,
So he was
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only know
I
him
don't
from
know, but I was
ISS.
up in
there.
Now, I wasn't in ISS.
I had
I always
I wasn't, but I know him.
I had.
I never had ISS. I was a good kid.
I was scared straight in middle school, so I was good from 8th
I
grade.
think by the
all
time
the
he
way
came to
up.
high school, he had already
He
gone.
was already gone.
No, he was there. He was there.
there.
He was there for at least a
Yeah.
couple years when I was there. At least one. Or
He
two
was
years.
definitely gone when I entered into high
Yeah.
school. But
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just shout out to all the the brother. It was some other ones too. You know what I'm saying? But just specifically the brothers, man, that kind of held it down and kind of gave us some insight on
Look,
life ain't just what your surroundings is, man.
Yep.
Like
Think
get outside of that. Think
Yeah.
outside of that and get outside of that. You know what I'm saying? So you can.
Can I say something to Mercedes? The example that you just spoke about,
Yes, sir.
Is this right here? Disagreement is not disrespect,
It's not.
there you go.
It's
Yeah.
not.
and that's the first thing that came to my mind is
Something I had to
disagreement is
unlearn.
disrespect. And what happened? And like, and I've always been that kid that was being challenged. Like whether or not my parents opened up the door for it. or
Yeah,
not,
that was
I
your
always-
natural
and I said,
personality.
Yeah,
My mom
me
had
too.
her own
Me
way.
too. Me too.
Yeah, my mom. Yeah, my
Still to this day.
Ma.
Do what I said, Mercedes. Just do what I said. Nah,
No, that don't make
That
sense.
don't make sense. I don't like it.
No, that don't make sense, mom.
This how I start. Hey, Ma, think about what you're saying.
I said what I said.
Hey,
my mom. My mom. She did nurture that in us. You know what I'm saying? She nurtured that in us.
speak on it. Please speak on it. Please speak on it. Go. No, cause you talking something that's hitting home right now. Go ahead. Speak
My
on
mom
it.
definitely nurtured that in us, but she was able to, like, Brandon or Andrew might not have been the ones to challenge the way I challenged. I know
Yeah.
me. And,
That came natural to him.
But she, but she, and when I say
Argumentative
challenge,
ass.
when I say challenge, that's just the same thing
Yeah.
as the example you mentioned. The lady said she allowed them to argue the point, and so I say all that to say disagreement and disrespect, and you have to teach. And it just in this world, right, we have to teach us, all of our children in the world, our young men, how to disagree with the viewpoints and opinions and
Yeah.
perspectives, whatever the case, without actually crossing the line and disrespecting. And just because I disagree with your thought process, your
Doesn't mean
expectation or whatever, doesn't mean that I have to be disrespectful when I do it, and it doesn't mean that I
am.
disrespect you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the thing. Like I said, when you're talking about parenting, Andrew is exactly right. And I can speak from the time I got into education in 2012. I knew at that point I was like, "Yo, they different, and they were different than how we were raised."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to explain.
yeah.
And now it's even
Checks
more
and
prevalent.
receipts,
You
boy.
have to explain. And so you said, well, just because I said so, like, bro, that ain't it.
It ain't
Like,
good
it
enough.
Fly.
Yeah.
And
It ain't
it
good
ain't good enough. And ain't nobody, but they ain't gonna hear nothing you got to say. I had to earn. I mean, even in my environment, dealing with criminals, young men who committed crime, I had to earn the right to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Committed a crime.
Yeah.
You weren't a law-abiding citizen. You
Yeah.
didn't do right in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you want me to tell me that I gotta earn the right? But no, if you really, like, the way it works, in order for me to really, I gotta spend time with you, build rapport to earn the right to tell you
Everything
hey, man,
is
that's not
earned,
what
nothing
you-
is
hey,
given.
man, and hold you accountable.
That's
And
something.
so,
yeah.
and I got to, and in order to build that rapport, it takes a lot of explaining. Well, I got
Yes.
to explain everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's something I had to unlearn for sure. Especially
a lot of energy, man.
yeah.
It takes a lot of energy.
Because I got to check myself a lot because again,
Yeah.
childhood lasts
Yeah.
forever. So especially when you when you got every kid is different, right?
Well, you got a Wesley.
Wesley, he one of them kids that a lot of times he be right, bro.
Wesley
he be right.
for president,
but,
yo.
But
Hey, bro, listen.
Yeah.
I'm be real with you. Like that kid could probably honestly run
Yeah.
for president, and
Wesley for president, man.
right now he could run for president.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Like
and
Donald Trump would be the president.
gosh.
No, Wesley can do it. Great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, my point was when you got Wesley he's hugely outspoken, very opinionated, very much like how Gerard was as a kid. Like
That's dope.
that was a natural tendency, is just to naturally speak out. Me and Drew were a little bit more reserved as kids. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a kid like that, you got to check yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I find myself, I gave myself a pat on the back recently because.
You wanted to snatch him up?
No, I haven't. No. Now sometimes you do because kids gonna do that to you.
Sometimes you got to.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to in a certain way, but
Yeah.
in the way that we got snatched up and spanked as
It's
kids, like
different. Yeah,
I have
yeah.
not done that
Yeah.
in a very long time. I said, Gab, it was like right around. I said, Gab, I don't think I spanked the boys like in a very long time. I was like, wow. I was like, you really don't like. It's not so much of like, doing it because you did it. It's
Yeah.
like, nah, it's like you really don't like when you going back to the whole explain notion, like when you do actually explain it, and when they respect you and you respect them and you treat them as not so much
As human beings.
not so much
Yeah.
equal, because
Yeah.
we ain't
You ain't
equal.
equal.
We ain't
Right,
equal.
We ain't equal.
You know what I'm saying?
Never
The
equal.
life ain't equal. You know what I'm saying? But you're a human being, and I respect you as my son. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? When they understand that, like Gerard said, you build a rapport over time. You don't have to lay hands on them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how it is with girls, but with boys, sometimes, like Drew said, I might have to grab you a little bit.
Yeah,
just to,
yeah.
hey, bro, like chill out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You gonna feel this.
But in terms of like raising my hand, now another thing, this guy,
Chill out.
now another thing that I'm admittedly still working on is raising my voice.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Because and Gerard, you mentioned this in the previous episode when we were talking about it was the one where we did it in Wilson, at Darnell's. He was talking about raising his voice at the girls, and he was like, he saw their reaction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if I had girls, I probably would have thought about this differently, because double standard, father, daughter, father, son, whatever. That's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is, when I do raise my voice, I do see a reaction. I'm not the biggest man in the world, but I ain't a little guy either. I'm 6 foot. I'm 6 foot guy with a deep voice. So it's like when you yell at these.
It ain't all that deep. It ain't all that deep.
So what I was saying was. So what I was saying. Well, I done yet, but anyway.
Well, y'all funny tonight, boy.
He talking about basically. My voice changed before his did when we was kids. We was like
This
11.
is-
We was like 11, 12.
This is facts.
It was like 11, 12.
I can
We got. I don't remember the video.
No.
We
It ain't
was
no
outside.
video. No. Forget that. We was in Bible study, boy. We was in Bible study, and Granddaddy said, so that boy voice changed, and then we noticed Gerard's voice didn't change yet. So, but it was,
I was like this, and I was like, yeah, my voice sound like this.
we had to back in our church. You know what I'm saying? We had to stand up and testify back in the day. We
Back in the
had
day.
to testify.
Say scripture.
Jesus wept.
You said
For
that.
God.
You said that one last.
What'd you say? For God so loved the world.
Thank God.
Thank God for being here.
Hey, boy, y'all some fools, boy.
That was my testimony.
That was a testimony. Thank God for being here.
Bro.
Say that.
Hey, Brandon,
Yeah.
you had to testify. You won't get out of church first.
Yeah, bro, you gonna testify.
And it was an unspoken. Nobody actually said it. It was unspoken, bro. It was like everybody. We be going around. Mama stand up, grandma stand up, and we just sitting there like, no, I ain't doing it today. Nigga, get up and testify. Thank God for being here.
I go to the bathroom when it's time for me.
Yeah, bro, you better go testify today.
Hey, man.
Ooh, my
y'all
head
funny,
hurt, bro.
boy.
My
Y'all
head. I
funny.
need some water.
Anyway.
I forgot what I was saying, man.
It don't
Basically,
matter.
raising my voice. And I was like,
Alright,
yeah, I'm
alright.
learning not to do that as
Now
much.
that's the funniest thing, because I was talking to Gerard not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? I consider
head
myself a nomad right now. I was like,
No,
when I come through the city, just open your doors. I need somewhere to sleep. But nah, so I stayed with my brother and my sister for a couple nights, and it was funny because you know what I'm saying, we know how we grew up, and I know how my dad would get frustrated. I told bro, I was like, bro, it must be having boys like, that make you like, you just, look, man, look, I'm saying a certain thing. You're supposed to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and when I'm serious, I'm gonna have to force me to use the muscle. But I thought it was funny. Like I was sitting there, you know, and you just sit back as an uncle and observe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I see him, man, come on, man, like come on, bro. Like I got a kick out of him saying bruh a lot. Like, you know,
I'll say bruh and bro,
boy,
like, come on, bro.
Come on, bro. Like you know better than this, bro. Like he's talking to his teammates almost. But it's funny, you know what I'm saying, to see that because we're brothers, and I see him I seen him get aggravated with me and Dry, like just doing stupid stuff around.
Because I was the
he
one.
was the antagonized.
Yeah, they used to.
We would antagonize him.
And then they would do it until I was snapped.
Yeah, and he would have these moments. You know what I'm saying?
I'll cuss out loud. Mama, you Brandon Kurt.
Hey, bro,
I ain't heard nothing.
Listen,
Mama,
I ain't heard
Brandon used 12 cuss words. Brandon used 12 cuss
God, mother.
Hey, look, my mama wouldn't hear none
I ain't
of
heard
them.
nothing. I'm in the spirit.
She wouldn't hear none of them.
She hear nothing,
Like,
bro.
Ma, you ain't just hit us. This boy just cussed us up and down. Like,
We be in the back of the car, bro.
I ain't hear him.
I ain't hear nothing.
I feel like she got a thing for dark skinned boy.
Hey man,
There you go.
You know.
There you go.
Yeah, daddy was dark.
Hey man, you know.
There you go.
We in now.
There we go.
We've been in for a long time.
Man, y'all been in for forever, man. When the light skin boy.
Ain't never
Hey
going
man,
outside.
y'all do too much.
Chocolate ain't-
Y'all do too much.
What? I'm one of the calm ones, but I would agree with
Y'all
you.
do too much,
I would
man.
agree with you, man. You know, a bit dramatic sometimes.
You know.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, man, yo, it's good times, bro.
Hey, guess what? Hey, but guess what though? Thank God for being.
Thank God. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I really do, yo, because
Nah.
being on that boat for
But I
4
do.
months straight,
Hey, shout out
Like,
to. Go ahead.
you see in going to different countries in South America or parts of South America, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like you a long way from home, bro.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got a question.
And you in the hood at that, because you know when
I
you
got-
got.
I got a
posted
question.
on Instagram.
He got some little
question.
kids out there. Hey, puppy.
I got a
Hey,
question.
puppy.
Go ahead, bro.
You ain't got no boat, boo?
He got something out there waiting on him.
No. Boys put me on the spot, man.
Hey. All right.
Real deal. Nah, man, look, you out there for. All I'm saying is I was out there for a long time, and that's very well
Exactly.
possible. I'm not gonna speak to yay or nay, but that's very well
Exactly.
possible.
You,
And it's reasonable.
you got to
Not
do what you got to do.
Hey,
Not
puppy.
ashamed.
Do what you got to do to survive.
Hey, look, our parents we grew up with parents that had to do what they had to do to
Yeah.
make it to the next day,
Yeah.
and
When you out on that water,
Gotta do
you
what
got to
you
do
gotta
what you
do.
get.
to make it to the next day. So
You live.
you live to see
Live to
the
fight another day. Come on, son.
Shout out
Come
to
on,
Sean
son.
Witherspoon.
Hey, get up.
Come on, Craig. Come on, Craig.
Get up, son.
No, hold on. Not my bad. Let it be a man. Let it be a man.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Come on, Craig.
it was a great
Come on, Craig.
experience, bro. It was
Yeah.
a great experience, you know. And I love Costa Rica,
Yeah, that's why you going back.
and always.
You got a special place in your heart.
Ring, ding, 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 ding. Ring, ding, 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 ding.
Hey.
Ding, 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 ding.
But yeah, man,
Hey, this is dope, bro.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you back, bro.
Yeah.
it's good to be back, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's good to
Yeah.
be back.
Where was your favorite place to go? Like other than Costa Rica? You say you
Well,
love
the best food, man. I know you said you went to the hood.
Colombia,
Colombia.
Colombia
Colombia.
has the best food,
By
in my
far.
opinion.
Just to be clear for all of you
I
people
wanna-
who
so-
failed
so-
social
so-
social studies,
let me-
Colombia is in South America, right?
Colombia,
Colombia.
Not South Carolina.
not Colombia, Colombia. Okay, we ain't talking about South America, and we ain't talking about the district. All right.
Yeah.
Talking about Colombia,
DC.
like so, yeah, like I had one meal, and I will say it was the
Word.
being in South, because we were in Mexico for a little minute, and I can see what a lot of Hispanic people say about Mexican restaurants in the U.S. Like
Okay.
a lot of times they kind of cater to the U.S. as far as our taste buds.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Like things salty.
Oh,
When I was in Mexico, it was nothing was salty.
it's flavor.
It was
It's an acquired
combination-
taste, yeah.
It was a combination of flavors and different spices and stuff like that,
But not so much salt.
not the sodium that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
experience
Wow.
over here. So it was
Interesting.
I can see what people would say, you know what I'm saying? But when I went to Colombia, the food was exactly what I needed it to be, and it was
Yeah.
flavorful.
Are you speaking in code, or are you just speaking literal terms?
Sound little
Real
to me.
food, bro? I'm talking about actual.
Bro, I'm
They
just
talking about
playing with you,
food,
bro.
man. Come on,
talking about
man.
a plate
Here
of
you go,
food,
man.
chicken
Ain't
rice salad.
you married, man? If you was gonna have that
Yeah, bro. We had that conversation off screen, bro. Had that conversation now.
He trying to mess your plug up.
I'm talking about food.
What you talking about, bro?
What?
I'm talking about
Bro,
a
what
plate
are you
of food.
talking about?
But nah, the best food I had was in
Chicken,
Colombia.
rice,
Colombia.
easy
You know what I'm saying?
whatnot.
Costa Rica has some
Yeah.
great food as well. Aruba, you have some decent spots. Aruba is more so like a kind of commercial. They kind of like America, like as far as food, wings and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I want
They cater to the
when I go
tourists.
to the city,
You trying to go to the
I
where the
want to
people?
go to the authenticity. You know what I'm saying? Of what the city is.
You know the best food I had? It was in St. Thomas.
Really?
Word.
That was the best food I ever.
What did you have?
Virgin Islands, right?
Red
It's Virgin
Snapper.
Islands, right?
No, I didn't have a red snapper, but
did?
yeah, it is Virgin
Virgin,
Islands.
yeah.
But just go back to what you were just saying, and it's just being around local food.
Yeah.
you know,
That's where I
real
wanna be.
authentic.
Yeah.
you know, real authentic. You know, food, and by far, the best food I've had came out of St. Thomas.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the way they prepare foods in the islands in South America or whatever, man.
This is
but
cleaner, most likely.
It could possibly be. I'm not gonna speak to it because I don't know.
It ain't
'Cause it
got to
come
be
from the
clean.
same-
More fresh.
No, it ain't
Yeah,
got.
it's just the
Well,
way they-
clean as in fresh, as in it don't
I'm
travel as
speaking-
far.
Probably, but I'm just speaking to the fact of like I don't know what it is, bro. Like it's a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
It's a difference. So you can tell everything over
Native,
here is
man.
mass
Native
produced.
is more- it's-
Yeah.
it's
You know what I'm
native,
saying?
bro.
Yeah, I
Native.
think native. You know what I'm saying? It being from straight from the land. You know what I'm saying? You know,
They
it's
might
from-
they might make it differently every single time
It may be. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
because it's real. You know, it's made to order.
Yeah.
A lot of times
There
it's
you
made
go.
to order.
It's never gonna be
And
identical. Yeah, I
it's-
understand. Yeah.
The proportions are different. They just know it so much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
boom, boom.
One thing I have heard of people who have traveled abroad as well is they talk about how America, the portion size is just ridiculous.
Terrible, bro. When you
Yeah.
go over there, bro, and I was look, I'm talking about $5 and
You getting
Eat good for 3 days.
listen, at least a day and a half.
Yeah.
money go long over there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you know, everything is cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is cheaper, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like the quality. I'm just gonna say it like this, bro. Like I get and understand what people, the mentality that they have when they say we leaving the U.S. and we.
There's a lot of black people who left and moved to Mexico.
I'm just saying. I
lot of
got.
I wouldn't mind going
New
to
Zealand, I heard of New Zealand, Mexico, and
Bro,
other
it's
ones
a
too.
lot of. It's a
Ger-
lot
I
of.
think somewhere in
perks.
Germany,
It's
somewhere
a lot of
away
perks
from
to-
Chapo though.
Of course.
Because Chapo's
You don't
son
want them.
just
You don't want them problems.
nah.
I don't need to be
No,
covered.
no.
I look like I could be one of them.
Yeah, you do look kind of Puerto Rican-ish.
No,
Nah,
you
bro.
don't.
Nah, bro.
Puerto
I was
Rican.
look. Listen, I was in Mexico and they.
Hey, papi. Ri-ti-ti-ti.
With your hair and everything.
Bro,
Bruh,
bruh. It's more black people in South America than it is white people.
He said,
I said Mexico.
Oh,
said
well,
Mexico.
it's
He said
a lot of
Mexico.
people his
That's
color down
In
there.
Costa Rica and in Colombia, they black, bro.
I know that, but when you said Mexico,
I said
that's
Mexico.
why. That's why
It's
I was
it's
like,
black
your
people.
I
hair.
always had a hat on, bro.
Oh,
I always
okay.
got a hat
All
on,
right,
so
all
you,
right.
they can't tell by my hair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in Colombia
Yeah, I
and
can see
Costa
that.
Rica, like
I can
it
see
was
that.
people out there darker than me and had
Facts.
nappier hair than me.
I can see
Facts.
that. But yeah, it's a dope conversation, man. Gerard,
Appreciate you, man.
OJ,
OJ,
big body business.
That's a new one. I ain't heard that
Lord. We're gonna leave it at that. We're gonna leave it
Y'all
at that.
dumb, bro.
We're gonna leave it at that.
Hey man, my dedication is gonna change all this. So.
Hey, yeah,
Hey,
bro.
man.
Hey, that's what's up.
It's always love, man. It's always love, bro, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year to everybody out there listening and watching. Appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, comment, share.
Yeah, man.
And we gonna hit y'all when we hit y'all next time. Appreciate y'all tuning in.
Sure, sure.
Gentleman's Guy, we out.
All right, bro.